Food and Beverage Magazine Live, bringing food and beverage to life with your hosts, James Beard Award winner Jennifer English and Food and Beverage Magazine publisher Michael Politz. Featuring leaders in the hospitality, branded food and beverage, and CPG industries, many of whom are Jennifer and Michael's friends in the business, for an informal and informative conversation where friends in the business share the latest intel, ideas, and best practices. Live, juicy inside scoop from the tastemakers, newsmakers, bread bakers, drink shakers, spoon lickers, clam diggers, farms, foodies, and friends of the food and beverage magazine world. Here are your hosts, Jennifer English and Michael Politz.
Hey everybody, welcome. It's Food and Beverage Magazine Live, and I am so energized today. Have you felt the reset occurring that's happening in the globe? It's a global reset, and I have been missing my beloved brother from another mother, our publisher, Michael Politz, who joins us today. He has been so busy putting together the way that all the big movers and shakers do. Look at that, his new commodious confines in his executive suite. Look at you in your C-suite there, Michael.
No, I decided it was time for my commodious confines to be a little more upscale.
That looks awesome. The
It
new
does?
place looks great.
Thank you.
How
I'll
are you
never
doing?
have you
I
over.
missed you. Do you know how many emails I'm getting from people going, "Where's Michael?"
None. I've been very busy, Jen. I've been very busy, Jen. We have a huge issue coming up with next month on Food and Beverage Magazine. And the cover boys are people you may not have heard of. One's name is John Varvatos, who's very famous in the men's underpants world. And
He's a designer. He's a very famous.
Yeah. He actually designed the underwear that Calvin Klein everybody wears. He designed that when he worked for Calvin Klein.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
And we have his partner in Villa One Tequila, Nick Jonas. Both on the cover. Yeah, so I've been working with them through Zoom and trying to get the right story and helping them a little bit along their path and giving them some advice. And it's very fun. They're both wonderful guys, and hopefully the feature article I'm not writing it because they can't pay me enough to write such a thing. And but very exciting. Nick is actually spending his time in London right now with his beautiful wife. And John, I think, is all over the place. So probably New York. It's interesting.
I don't want to give too much of a scoop break of the news coming up in the next issue about Villa One, but talk a little bit about how there is even room for something like this, and how this category of celebrated names getting into the consumer packaged goods industry in terms of branding a product as opposed to just the idea that celebrities are branding themselves. We've actually talked a lot about that in the last few weeks, trying to get a handle on how all of this adaptation in the time of COVID is leading to where the future of food is. What's our rebranding? What's our rebuilding? What's our reboot, if you will, of the entire hospitality industry going to look like? And yet, in the midst of it, we're seeing really interesting things from some celebrated names. Talk about this whole project that John Varvatos and Nick Jonas are doing.
Nick and John were at a private party, a very VIP party, where you might see the likes of me sometimes. VIP party. I'm just kidding. I haven't been to a VIP party in 10 months. Well, that's not true. Let me take that back. But they were hanging out, and they were like, "Oh, I love tequila. Oh, you love tequila." And they're like, "Let's do a tequila." Ta-da. So they have a fantastic partner, Stoli, which we've all heard of. So that ends coming.
But they're a vodka company. I like the idea.
They have different brands. They have Premier Brands, I believe it's called, and they have other brands. So through that, and they sourced the greatest tequila, and they both went down there, and they said, "What should we call it?" And they said, "Well, we did meet in Villa One at the VIP party. Let's call it Villa One." And then John created the bottle design. which I believe, Jennifer, was a winner in the Proof Awards Design Distinction, correct?
Yeah, it was a design distinction, among other things. It was a design distinction award.
And well, those results are going to be coming out next month.
Yeah.
In a special edition of the Proof.
And so all the double gold, all the Century Award winners, all the small brands and legacy brands that came to the Proof Awards, tasted by buyers in the industry. So you really got the chance to get your products in front of really knowledgeable palates, people who understood what their own customers wanted. And it is one of the premier tasting and judging events in the world. And of course, the double golds this year, I think a lot of people were surprised at the overall breadth of the quality. You're always hoping you'll get one or two, but I think the consensus was
the Century. There was 20 Century Awards this year, and it was just unbelievable.
Which is shocking to me.
It was shocking, but this is what the judges voted on. You were standing right there in the room with me.
Yeah.
I was pushing stuff that they didn't want to hear what I was pushing. They just ignored me and took, when it went from double gold, which is the highest, and then it goes to all the judges, and they choose whether it goes to 100 or not. And I can't, like Kiss Wine got a double gold, 99 points. I don't even know if our executive director, Michelle Tell, would get a bad that I'm saying this, but let's talk about the best of show, shall we?
Yeah.
Should we?
Please.
Shall we?
Well,
Hardy Legend,
a beautiful cognac that is a blended cognac from the House of Hardy, a legacy house in the heart of Cognac, France.
And by the way, one of their bottles is being auctioned off. It should be getting $135,000 from her grandfather.
Wow.
I sent you the article.
By him?
He's not alive.
Wow.
But what about the other best innovative, the cinnamon?
Well,
blueberry
there was
liqueur.
Listen, this sounds crazy. You're not going to walk into a bar. I mean, I was with some people the other night, and they go, a guy walks into a bar. Well, if you walk into a bar and someone said, I have some blueberry cinnamon cordial, you're not going to go, ooh, I'll have a little sip. It's like you can't imagine something so esoteric being so irresistible. It was astonishing. It was so delicious. It stopped everyone in their tracks. It is impossible to convey the quality of this.
The bottle, I took one home. I stole the bottle from the competition.
And you don't even drink.
I don't even drink, but I can have that without alcohol every single day. There's something about whatever's it's Skunk Brothers is the name. It's Skunk Brothers Blueberry Cinnamon Cordial. And proofawards.com, and it'll be up on there. It'll be up on Food and Beverage Magazine's website, so everyone will be able to find it. I think that amazing. So what's up for today, Jen? We've been busy. You've been busy. I told you I stopped calling you. I didn't take your calls for a while. You were bugging me way too much. I had to get you a producer for the show because I couldn't produce it and be on it, or even be on it, right? We've met some really fun friends along the way. I know my very good friend Pratik is going to be on because he runs Hungry Empire, very, very digital. And digital in our world is something different than digital in the medical world. Do you know that, Jennifer?
Well, what's fascinating about this is
digital in the medical world means something different than digital in our world.
I see your point. Look, the reality is that in all this time that we've all been home, everyone has been looking, studying, thinking, meditating, imagining, allowing our minds to wander about where the future of food is going to inspire us to all go next. Our guest today, and by the way, we have to send a very special hello out to our good friend, former Saveur editor, Food Network regular, superstar judge extraordinaire, and author. James Oseland was due to be with us today, and he's feeling a little under the weather. And he's got a cold, and we're sending him some hot matzo ball soup and all our love and swift healing. So we're sorry he's not here with us today. But today was going to be a combination of looks at where we go next, at both the future and our past. But what's most important is that the idea of digital technology is impacting the hospitality industry and the food industry, the farming industry, and everything in between. We're in a very unique space right now, and what we are going to become as this same united food world that James Beard always claims we are. He said food unites us. He's not wrong. But isn't it interesting to see how food unites us is actually shifting as a connection, as an engagement, and as a dynamic? We're going to explore that a little bit today. I mean, I'm going to go with you, Michael, and say, do you remember when we first met? And we know where we first met, but back in those days, I was creating podcasts from my radio show. But this was
Jen,
this was 2000.
I don't know what you were doing. I don't even know. You threw a picture up I saw the other day of you and Carrie Simon from the day we met.
I know.
You were such a young little schoolgirl.
I know. What I'll tell you, though, is I was putting out podcasts before anybody had a pod. Things are changing now much more quickly and much more dynamically. We're going to talk a little bit about what all that means. And I know that you, and I got to give you an awful lot of credit. While people may look at food and beverage media and think that we are just a traditional media company.
True, moody media.
Magazine. I mean, you've been digital for a while.
That's true. Jen, I got to go to meetings. So I want you to take a break. John, you're going to go take a break, and then you're going to bring on Pratik, and you're going to learn everything about the digital world.
From his
Whether you are
empire.
thinking about becoming a restaurateur or you are already in the business, Michael Politz has written a must-read, The Food and Beverage Magazine's Guide to Restaurant Success. Pick up your copy today at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Books A Million, or wherever fine books are sold.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Food and Beverage Magazine Live. I'm Jennifer English, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be welcoming you here to join us today. Here in our clubhouse, so to speak, of Food and Beverage Land. You know, one of the things that we do in the test kitchens here at Food and Beverage Magazine is talk about and taste what we hope the future will look like. And it's a very popular topic right now as people are sort of locked at home and locked in limbo, and restaurants are closing, and old ways of doing business are just yielding to the potential of what the future holds for us. You know, there are an awful lot of people who are part of that and are working in collaborative ways across multiple genres and platforms. And today we're going to go to our own crystal ball and look in at a glimpse of what your food future might look like. You know, if you worked in a restaurant and if you worked in a food service operation of any kind, and you've closed permanently and don't really know where to go next, we're going to continue to talk about the fact that food will continue to go from the farm to the fork. And you and your passion, your talent and expertise are going to play a really pivotal role in where we all go next. How we engage together, how we all get there together is something that is being created by the brightest minds and the most passionate souls that we have. It is so much more than just what kind of chips go in the bag and what kind of food goes on your menu and how you're going to deliver it and how you're going to pay for that delivery. There is so much to think about what the future of food looks like. And we're going to have this as part of a series of conversations with people who we consider making a difference today, leading us towards the food future of tomorrow. And one of those people is Pratik Bhakta. Hello, and how are you? Pratik, how are you? Let's get his...
Sorry, my mic was off mute.
There you go. How are you?
I'm well.
I'm so happy that you're here with us. And I wanted to thank you for coming and joining our conversation about what you do and how you do what you do. But then we're going to weave that into the larger conversation of how, you know, James Beard, the father of American gastronomy, said food unites us. We're going to use that as a theme for much of the year this year as we find out how food unites all of us together and how you bring that concept to life with your team and your concepts, your work, and your broadcasts as they exist on multiple platforms. So thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about where you are right now and where you come from into the world of what we'll consider into our hospitality world. Your company's name is Hungry Empire, and I love that concept. We'll get to that too. But talk about your journey and how it led you to the hospitality industry.
Yes. So I have been in the hospitality industry since birth. Both my parents, both sides of my family, both sets of my grandparents were in the hospitality industry in America. So from when they came from India to America. And when I got into college, I went to college at UC Riverside, and I wanted to highlight the food scene.
And that's in California, we should tell people.
Oh, yes, correct. It's in California. It's just 60 miles east of LA, but it's a totally different world, totally different food scene. And I wanted to highlight small businesses. They're the small hidden gems that just didn't have a marketing budget. And I saw so many giant food pages in New York, LA, Miami, the larger cities, and I wanted to bring that to the area where I was born and raised. And so therefore that started Hungry Empire, to highlight small businesses. And then from there, initially my handle was Hungry Inland Empire, because that's like the county, San Bernardino and Riverside County. And then eventually I switched it to Hungry Empire just because there's no limit to that. There's no boundaries. And now I'm based in LA.
Let's talk a little bit about how you identify in the world of hospitality. I'm struck by the titles you engage in the practice of within the family of hospitality. Many roles did not exist just 10 years ago, let alone a generation ago. And I think it's really important for people to respect and remember that our world has already changed and is changing. It wasn't merely COVID that has sort of shaken up our snow globe to make everything float around. We had already been shaken up pretty darn good. And it's given people, young, ambitious people, multi-generational hospitality families in their next iteration to have the room and the inspiration and the ability to go somewhere different. Will you talk about some of your unique titles and how you were able to convince your generations in front of you that this was where we were all going to go?
Yes. So my family's in the hotel industry, in the hotel sector of the hospitality industry. And the restaurant scene is something we never touched. I've always had a passion for food. I wanted to highlight small businesses, like I said, in college. And then I've always loved food. So then I made a food page. And then it took a little bit of convincing to my parents that there's potential in this, that I don't have to join the hotel industry to make a career. And eventually I started a marketing company through Hungry Empire, highlighting these businesses. And I say the future is digital. And it's been digital for quite some time now. But right now we're gearing towards complete video content in comparison to about 4 or 5 years ago where it was pictures as well. Now everyone wants to see videos, and TikTok is the largest platform, and it's going to become the largest information sharing platform there is.
And so you identify yourself as a pre-IPO investor, a food blogger, a digital marketer in the hospitality industry space. So you consider yourself a hospitality professional, but you're also a producer and an aggregator of content and ideas, and you are an entrepreneur, and you're a visionary. And we've got a couple of your TikTok videos up here, and I wondered if you'd just comment and tell us a little bit about what we're looking at, because it is in these roles that you've created these videos that literally are garnering you millions of views, but a real impact on our industry. Would you talk about this, please? What are we looking at?
This video in particular is a new sandwich shop that opened in the Fairfax district in LA. It's a complete plant-based. The restaurateur, he was a pro skateboarder turned restaurateur. He doesn't want to title the place as like plant-based or vegan, but it just happens that it's the delicious food that happens to be plant-based.
And it's a small business, so it fits in line with your mission to highlight small businesses.
Exactly.
And in terms of what they're doing, how are they similar to or different than the other small businesses in the area, in the region that you're seeing?
This one is different because, or on the street it's primarily just Fairfax district is kind of just more streetwear, hype fashion, skateboard shops. And this business in particular is, as we know, California has a large plant-based community, a large vegan community, and health-conscious communities. And I think this plays into it, but it's not vegetables, it's not plant-forward. It just happens to be, like delicious food that happens to be plant-based.
Will you talk about what it takes to make the cut? A lot of people are going to see this. A lot of food entrepreneurs around the country are going to see this. And maybe we'll reach out to you. In some ways, you're like a dream maker in the old Hollywood days. You know, you hold the keys to the kingdom in the sense that you understand all of the usage and technology necessary to take someone who's making a great sandwich and turning them into an inspiration through something like TikTok. What does it take to get your attention? What does it take to really hook you, to make you get in the studio and get some of this video shot for any one person? What does it take to get from here to there with you?
A story. If I find a story of a restaurateur that's took a risk, that took a leap of faith in order to build what they're building, in order to further the restaurant scene in LA in particular, I definitely just pay a visit and I ask them like, hi, is it possible for me to record? Or I call them ahead of time and schedule that. One of my best videos was actually a restaurateur she was a Korean woman in Koreatown who opened a business. She was scammed out of, I think, around $60,000 just before opening because she didn't speak English. And so she fell victim to that. And I ordered a bunch of food with one of my friends. I took a video, I posted on TikTok. And then what I found out later was that she had sold out of food for 1 week after because so many people flooded her business.
That's the impactfulness and efficaciousness of a TikTok hit. Let's talk about how that's still just a baby seed and it hasn't even blown up to its full potential. Where do you see this going? What is this going to do for businesses, small and large, big city like LA and rural areas as well?
Oh, the sky is the limit with TikTok. It's initially TikTok was just kind of like a music sharing and dance app. And then it's evolved over quarantine. I think a part of the success for TikTok has been the fact that people now have so much more time. They spend time and you have so many young creators, people who never had a platform on anything else beforehand are now becoming viral creators on this new platform. And it's becoming an information sharing platform. And it's not just it's not just me posting a video in LA and it blows up because there's such a large population there, but it's also rural areas. So currently I'm in a suburb visiting family, and I posted a video of a Creole Caribbean restaurant that's in town. And this is about 70 miles east of Los Angeles. And I posted this yesterday. And this morning I woke up to 4 messages saying people didn't realize they were only 15 minutes away from this hidden gem. And they were going today.
It's a difference maker. And that's an understatement.
Definitely.
When we hear about TikTok, when we've heard about it in the news, let's just say there's sufficient misunderstanding about what the platform was, is, and will be. Would you just, for all the boys and girls in the hospitality industry who are joining us and who are perhaps displaced because their restaurant closed and they're looking for a silver lining in this moment in time that may come from something like finding their voice on TikTok, would you just remind everybody what TikTok is? I mean, we showed a video, but I don't know that we've really broken it down and said what it is and why people in the hospitality industry should really be paying attention to it as a potential next in their evolution post-COVID.
Yes. So to all the young people out there, I say, or not even young people, anyone really, just take the leap of faith, post a video. Don't worry about what other people are going to think of you, or the people that you know that follow you already. Don't worry about that. An example is I was a little nervous. My little sister used to tell me, I told her, I was like, oh, I should post TikTok videos. And she's 19 now. And she's like about a year and a half ago, she was like, no, that's so embarrassing. My brother's like 23, 24. You can't be posting TikTok videos. You're too old for that. And I was like, a little off put by that. So I kind of never really tried too hard. And then last Sunday, I had 8,000 followers on TikTok. So because I wasn't posting regularly, I posted a TikTok. And then within 48 hours, I rose to 26,000 followers.
Wow.
Just because I have a passion for cooking. And I posted a video of me cooking. And it's not just your normal cooking video. It's me learning at a class how to cook. But one piece of advice that someone gave me was find what you're interested in, or find the answer to the question you have, and record it and post it. You don't know what's going to hit. This algorithm is gold at the moment. So I would go before the market gets oversaturated.
All right, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask it from 2 points of view. One, I'm an old dame. I've been in this business and game a long time.
Mhm.
I know how to welcome people into my home, and I know how to make conviviality come to life, and I know how to do hospitality. But I don't know all the ways I can share that with young people in the industry. The transfer of that kind of wisdom is really important. But on the other hand, I just feel like an old dame, and nobody's going to watch an old broad like me on TikTok. They want to see fun people doing young things. And I'm thinking still that it's the singing and dancing platform. First of all, there are a lot of me out there. People who've put their life, heart, and soul into the hospitality, not just the kids in the industry, who are looking for that reset and adaptation for their passion and their talent. Talk to me, talk to people like me in our business about how this is viable for them as well, or especially.
I say there's a market for everyone. There truly is. There are a lot of older creators that are coming out saying, you know what, I have wisdom, like you have wisdom to impart on the younger generations or to anyone really. And there's always going to be people to listen to you. There's just a market for everybody out there.
I also want you to talk to people who are truly the displaced in our industry. And do you seek out working with these people? Do you only work with the chefs that you know in your area? Do you only do your own shows? How can we make a connection and an engagement between you and the displaced people of our industry so that they can learn more about who you are and what you do?
It's a great question. For those whose businesses are struggling, I have offered to help on my Instagram. I also have a network of friends that are also willing to, if you have a local business, we'd love to come support you. We'd love to come highlight you. We'd love to share your beauty, your gem, your story. And we know it's a difficult market. We don't charge for this. We just want to promote. We just want to build a strong community of food-loving people because food builds community.
We're talking with Pratik from Hungry Empire. I've got a kind of funny idea. Maybe it's a crazy idea. I would love to find somebody in our industry and give them an opportunity scholarship where, in partnership with Food and Beverage Magazine, we find somebody who's got a burgeoning side hustle that's legit, that can really deliver on product or experience or on message, that you can get behind and help give a TikTok life to. And then on the pages of Food and Beverage Magazine and on the moments on this show, we will do as well. So imagine if we could bundle together and give somebody and use that as an example. And it's not just that they'd have fairy godmothers in us making something happen. I'm hoping that it would prove to anybody that if we can do it, that anybody could do this. And I want to bring that example that you can do this to life. And you don't just need Pratik's hand holding or our encouragement to do it. What's your instinct when I say that? Because I think you and I have such aligned missions and such hope for our industry. What do you think about that?
I would love that. I would love to help in any way I can.
So let's put an invite out there, and we'll see what comes of it. I want to talk a little bit about something else you said when we were on a conversation the other day, because your family is involved in several dimensions of the hospitality industry, and you were talking about something that really just stopped me in my tracks, because I've got to be really honest. I drink very little because I had kidney cancer in 2005, but I'm a student of this sector. I've been part of the cocktail industry since it started and was on the first board the first seminar panel at Tales of the Cocktail. So I've really watched this go from a room full of cocktail geeks to a global industry and happening. But I also think that there's a great deal of art happening among distillers and makers, and it's an exciting category, and we're all coming to understand and appreciate what irresistible looks like and tastes like, and we're rediscovering some of the most ancient distilling traditions and blending traditions, like those found in France, like those found in Cognac, like those found in Armagnac, like those found in the whiskey lands. And I wanted to give you a chance to tell the story about how one offshoot of your family's multi-generation experience in the hospitality industry ended up in the glass.
Yes. So Jennifer's referring to my cousin Raj Bhakta of Bhakta Brandy most recently, but he was the founder of Whistle Pig whiskey, or he is the founder of Whistle Pig, which is a one of the award-winning spirit brands in the country. He got his start. He didn't want to join the family business, and he kind of he took 10 years and kind of figured out what he wanted to do. For a period, he was on a reality show on NBC. Then he kind of thought of that. He used that platform he built on that to run for state legislator in, I think, Illinois. He kind of garnered more media attention, and he became a personality. He's quite the unique character.
Yes.
And then he went to Vermont and bought a large 500-acre farm and opened up Whistle Pig. And for Whistle Pig, he had purchased a rye whiskey from Canada and had brought it to America and he was selling that until he could produce his own on the farm in Vermont. He was with that project for quite some time, and then most recently he launched Bhakta Brandy. It's his namesake. It's our family's last name. On 4th of July of 2020.
And one of the things that you and I were talking about is this unique opportunity from the products he found in France in this brandy project. He found some ancient Armagnac, basically.
He did. So he went on a world tour looking to purchase some of the most ancient brandy he could find. So he went to Japan, he went to the Philippines, he went to parts of Africa, and then he landed on the shores of Cognac, France. And I think he said it's 100 kilometers west of Cognac is a region called Armagnac. It's much smaller, less popular. And the reason for that is not because of lack of quality, it was because Cognac is a portside city. So therefore they have more of a world. They were able to travel around the world giving their product and selling their product. Whereas Armagnac is a little bit more inland. And he found 50 giant barrels of this ancient Armagnac brandy, and he's slowly bringing that to the States, and he's releasing barrel at a time. I think right now he's on his 5th barrel.
This is so exciting for brandy lovers in all the categories of connoisseurship across the spirited brands. I think this has been one of the great sleepers. There are certainly collectors all over the world that have recognized they just can't make any more vintage brandies and cognacs and armagnacs from 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago, just like they can't make any more real estate. It is a finite supply, and I think the world is waking up to what it is and how it tastes and what it represents, but what it means too. Before we let you go, I want to give everybody, we've been scrolling your Hungry Empire Instagram, but I wanted to see if we could just throw your TikTok video up one more time. John, can we do that one more time? Because I want, as we're talking, for you to point out that for everybody that thought that TikTok was just, funny voices and pranks and stunts, that it has really grown up and emerged into this information source that is at both entertaining and inspiring and credible. And so if we could show that video one more time, I'd be really grateful for that.
I just posted this one this morning.
What are you making?
This is me making a butternut squash soup in my beginner level cooking classes that I took 12 weeks of cooking classes, and with all the content that I've saved, I'm slowly putting on TikTok.
And how long are these videos for people that want to know how to get into the TikTok video business? Give us some of the technical tips that you share about how to get into this game.
Yes. My videos typically range anywhere from 20 seconds to 45 seconds, but I like to keep it under 30 ideally. Some recipes do go over. One thing I definitely would like to have subtitles to any of your videos, because with the algorithm, it boosts it to more people. And not only that, not everyone likes listening to the audio, or people are in public. They have the volume all the way down so they can read the subtitles. Another point is make it really brief. Share information. Your first 2 seconds have to be very engaging, captivating, and the rest can explain it.
When you're guiding new TikTok producers and you want to give them one or two essential tips I'm sure you've been able to distill down what success takes.
Mhm.
Can you share one of those really critical success factors?
Yes. Consistency is number one, along with anything you want to master. But TikTok, you have to post 1 or 2 times, a minimum a day. I try to post 2 to 3 times a day. Personally, that's one key thing. Another thing is, I would say if you're starting out, follow 50 of your favorite people, 50 of people you look up to, people whose content you love. Look at what the best parts of what they have, and then the worst parts. Mimic some of the best parts, but make it 5% of it better by using your own touch. Don't copy anyone, but just make it according to what you like. But definitely
How
follow
much
the category.
how much is self-awareness and authenticity important on TikTok?
Oh, very, very. The younger generation will completely pick it out. They don't like like millennials, for example. We like to portray our lives as picture perfect. Um, on We grew up with Instagram, so you want to portray your life as like, oh, you're always traveling, you're successful, X, Y, and Z. Whereas the generation below us, they're Gen Z. They're more raw, they're authentic, and they say they say they don't have the time for the fluff. They realize how toxic it is, and therefore they just kind of just want the real you, no matter what everything else is.
I want you to imagine that for all of the restaurateurs, line cooks, busboys, bartenders, and dishwashers that are out there that are lucky enough to still have a job, that may still need a new way to think about the future of their industry and their role in it. How many of them can you encourage to become a producer, a TikTok producer? Do you want people to send you postcards from their operations, from their restaurant? And if they do, what do you want to see?
Oh, I love that question. I can't encourage everyone enough. I say, like I said, TikTok is the future. So much potential. It's not fully tapped in yet. So I would say jump on it as soon as you can. Start posting. And yes, I would love for people to either email me or message me on Instagram with what your business is about, how I can help you, or what you're looking for if you're looking for any advice. And I would just love to help anybody, really.
I want you to imagine I'm a lobster roll shack in Maine. What do you want to see? Do you want to see the lobsters being cooked? Do you want to see the lobsters being caught? Do you want to see the mayonnaise being stirred in? Do you want to see the transaction with the person making change? What part of that business would you want to see?
I want your entire page to tell a story about some clips about the owners, some clips about the staff, some clips about your A to Z, how your product, your individual dish is made, where you source some of your ingredients from, but more content just about your products being made and enjoyed as well. At the very end of a lot of my clips, I kind of try everything to show a reaction, and I think people really love that.
I have to say thank you for coming here and being with us and giving us this invaluable information. We have launched a project together here today where we're going to give an experience and a mentorship, scholarship to a food industry professional who maybe doesn't have, I don't know, you don't have to not have a TikTok. Maybe you have a TikTok and it's just not hitting. Maybe you've only got a YouTube with 200 or 300 people on it. Maybe you've gotten taste, but you're not really clicking and aligning in a way that lets the success flow to you. I think we're giving you an opportunity right now to say, let us help you. And in doing so, we will demonstrate to everybody that now really is a moment in time that we can all seize upon and become a more vibrant contributor to the burgeoning culture of cuisine, gastronomy, hospitality, farming, making, brewing, doing, sipping, tasting, farming, all of it. And I can't thank you enough for being here with us, Pratik. And we should say, you're having lunch today with your grandfather.
Yes.
And the spirit with which you do everything is also critically important. And as our last word today, can you talk a little bit about how the things we used to think were important are less so, and the things that really are important we're awakening to, and how that aligns in the hospitality industry with some of the things that maybe we've always gotten right about taking care of people and welcoming them? Would you talk about how important spirit is in everything that's going on in our industry right now?
Yes, most definitely. I would say after this pandemic is over and when things return to normal, people are gonna long for that human connection more so than they've ever done before, at least in the past 20 years, where things are we're more like industrialized, things were more based on technology. We're gearing towards the human connection again. I think there's a huge craving for that. Whether it's small chat rooms, whether it's listening to podcasts, being engaged on TikTok, because you really feel as though you have friends on TikTok. I encourage everyone just to go on TikTok. Your first couple of days being new on the application, your feed, which is your explore page, which is called the For You page, will be just like kind of like dance videos. But after 2 to 3 days, the algorithm realizes what you like and it'll only show you things that you're interested in. And I really encourage you to take the time, and because it really builds a sense of community on there. You might never see the people in real life, but you feel as though you have a friend because everyone's this close to your face. You're on it usually late at night, and it's a great feeling.
And you saw at the beginning of our show that we talk about the fact that on this program, we have relationships and conversations with our friends in the business. And we can't tell you how blessed we feel to welcome you to our family of friends in the business and look forward to this project we're going to do together. We're going to invite everybody to email us here at Food and Beverage Magazine and to go onto Instagram. We've got a page where you can DM us and you can contact us about what kind of business you have and why you feel like we were speaking to you when we invited you to come for this incredible experience and TikTok scholarship experience with the one and only founder of the Hungry Empire. We're so thrilled you're here. Pratik Bhakta, thank you so much for being here.